This is Ms. Cooper here with your Week 7, Chapter 7 commentary video. And we have a document. We want to read this and summarize and help you get a better understanding of what we'll be looking at on this week. On last week, we began talking about the connection between the Industrial Revolution and the word imperialism. And we looked at the Ottoman Empire. We looked at a few other countries that had experienced fractures or rebellions and revolts, instability. We looked at those places and we were trying to get you to make the connection between industrialization and imperialism, and the main bridge that sort of gets these countries into other countries. Imperialism is the idea that a country would go outside of its borders and either overtake or infiltrate another country in an effort to obtain resources or maybe obtain a sphere of influence. And vulnerability in those countries is one of the biggest ways that the country becomes prey to that European imperialism. So we're still looking at that with this chapter. In the next few chapters, we will be talking about the fact that it is the Industrial Revolution that created that quick access to products and that desire to sell those products in multiple markets, and in many cases with forcible trade agreements being put in place. So we're going to look at Asia, and specifically China and even Japan is what we're going to be looking at on this week, and kind of paying attention to what's going on there. So we're going to start with the Qin Dynasty and talking about decline, causes of decline. This big circle is letting you know that these are all causes of the decline of this particular empire. And again, vulnerability leads to imperialism. When countries are unstable or are in a state of decline, such as the Ottoman Empire that we discussed on last week, it's easy to go in and exploit the situation and get those resources or become a sphere of influence there, whether you're welcome or not. So one cause of decline was corruption, okay? There's peasant unrest and there's incompetence. There's a lot of things going on in that country that people were not happy about. Population growth led to a food shortage. Anytime there's not enough food, there's going to be a shortage. Or if there are too many people and there's not enough food, then there's going to be a problem. Limited trade with the Europeans. The Chinese did not want to trade with the Europeans. Then there was an opium war with Britain. And we'll go all into that in the videos that are going to accompany this video. The Taiping Rebellion was another example of the disdain for foreigners in China. The advance of imperialism, okay? Europe, even though the Chinese did not want the Europeans trading with them, they did not want to trade with the Europeans, they did not want them there. And they come anyway, and they force their way in, and they have this whole war. Actually, it was two wars, the Opium Wars. And then there's the Taiping Rebellion, but imperialism is still coming in, okay? There's still European countries establishing themselves, establishing ports, and even forcing that to be the case. Then there's another rebellion, the Boxer Rebellion, another attack against foreigners. And then China goes to war with Japan in 1894. So all of those things help weaken the Qin Dynasty. And vulnerability is definitely an ingredient that leads to imperial powers. I mean, they come in if they see that there's trouble. They can come in and they can take advantage of the situation. Now, the next part of this paper talks about Western influence in China. In the mid-1800s, the Chinese economy went through a period of transition when European traders moved into China in greater numbers. The economy was affected by the West in three ways. Way number one, it introduced modern means of transportation and communication. So they come in and they say, we got these great things. See? And it seems like, okay, maybe that's okay. But sometimes that's a a trick. They come in bringing new things, shiny things, and say, hey, how about this? Then it created an export market so that it can get stuff from there. Export. Import means we're bringing stuff in. Export means we're sending stuff out. So that they want to control this market, though. Okay? The Chinese products that are there, they want an export market that they can control. Then it says it integrated the Chinese market into the 19th century world economy. That doesn't seem like such a bad thing, but at the end of the day, it's the manner in which it's done. The Meiji Restoration is another piece on this paper. I think it goes from 1871 to 1900. So it says new leaders stripped the daimyo of their lands, and an imperial army was formed based on compulsory military service. The daimyo were a group of soldiers, kind of like a class. We'll see a video that will show the structure from the shogun all the way down to the samurai. And that was 1871. From the 1870s through the 1880s, the progressives won control over the liberals. So here you have it, two factions. Whenever there's division within a country or an empire, that's creating vulnerability so that others can come in and they can exploit the situation, take advantage of it. 1889, the Meiji Constitution was adopted and modeled after Imperial Germany, giving most power to the executive branch. Okay, 1898, old values remained as the civil code played down the rights of women and placed them in a family role only. And in 1900, Japan's industrial sector grew to include the key industries of tea, silk, weapons, and shipbuilding. So this is your paper, your chapter 7 commentary video. Please take notes and follow all instructions. Thanks for being here.